All right, so we just finished the quadratic unit. And so this is a project that relates to what we've been doing for the last couple of chapters. So this is a project, partner project. How many people is involved in a partner project? 2, yes, not 3, not 5, not 10. Okay, so I do prefer partner, which means 2 people. But if you really don't want to do it in partners, you rather do it by yourself, please speak with me today or tomorrow, and we can have a discussion about you working on your own. Okay. First check-in date would be this Friday. So if you can write down, this Friday is December 1st. So first check-in date, December 1st. Okay. Project due date, this will not be due until after the Christmas break. Okay, so you'll have plenty of time. I just want to give you guys a lot of time ahead because because when we come back from the winter break, you guys are going to be really busy in January. Okay, so with your other subjects, final exams or culminating, so that's why I'm giving this way earlier so that you guys can start planning it. You can even finish it before the Christmas break if you want. Okay, I just don't want to. I want to try to reduce your stress level with all your other courses in January. Okay, so you are gonna compare linear and quadratic equations using Desmos and create an artwork using linear quadratic equations. The one criteria is that your work of art needs to have an indigenous theme. All right, that's the key right here. It cannot be an abstract art. Okay, so I need to be able to tell what you're trying to draw. Right? You can't just do like 20 lines and say this is an abstract art of a rainbow. Okay, so I need to be able to recognize it as either an object, landscape, symbol, etc. that has a Canadian Indigenous theme. Right? You'll have some class time to work on it as well, including today's class. Okay. Tomorrow though, we are gonna move on, but every once in a while, I'll give you guys class time to work on it, to meet up with your partner, to talk about your progress. Okay. That's why you need to have a first check-in date with me, with you and your partner and me, just for me to take a look at your rough sketch if you're on the right track, if I think it will be too difficult for you to do on Desmo or it's okay, and so forth. Okay, just want to make sure you guys start thinking. Make a Desmo account, and then you can either see a brief tutorial, video, YouTube, something on how to use Desmo, or you can just explore it yourself, have fun, look at the different features of Desmo. For example, Desmo, you can do lines with different colors. You can do fill-in colors. You can set parameters for in Desmo and so forth. So there's lots of things. Play around with it. Have fun. So how do you make your artwork? You need at least 12 different relations. Okay, and I need to make sure I know which curve goes with which equation. So for example, so the 12 that you need 2 linear relation in slope-intercept form. Yes, that's a typo. Please change it. Okay. You cannot have a linear equation in quadratic form. Okay. So if you can just cross that and write slope-intercept form. What is slope-intercept form? Yeah, y equals mx plus b. All right, so basically your equation is y equals mx plus b form. You need 2 linear equations in standard form. All right, we went over that. We need 2 quadratic relation in vertex form. By now you should know how it looks like. 2 equations in factor form and 2 parabolas in standard form. So we've done these for the last couple of chapters. Okay, and also 2 circle equations, which we did in chapter 2 or 3. Okay, those will give you a minimum of 12 different relations. You can have more than more than 12, definitely. Okay, but because you have so many equations there, I need to be able to see which parabola matches which equation. So whether you use color to distinguish, or numbers, or labels, anything. I just need to be able to tell, okay, this mouth right here is equation 5. This circle right here is equation 12, and so forth. Okay. These are examples of what Desmos can do. These are not indigenous. Toad is not indigenous. Okay, so these are just some rough examples. I want you guys to, think about the artwork. You can mimic an indigenous artwork from what you can find, or you can create your own with an indigenous theme. Okay, so yeah. The plot the relations with restricted domain and range so that your graphs don't go on forever. So for example, Toad's mouth doesn't go all the way up to his head. Okay, and to set those ranges, you need squiggly brackets. So for example, something like this in bracket form, you would set this so that it will only draw the smile from 0 to 2. Okay. The report. All right, so onto the report. You need to write a paragraph of 5 to 10 sentences and explain the historical or contextual indigenous significance of the art that you have created. Okay, I do not want to mark an essay, so I just want 5 to 10 sentences. All right, and then the second part, only on the quadratic relations, which is the parabolas, part C, D, and E. I want you to, for each of those equations, I want you to list the domain and range, the zeros, the vertex, and the written transformations. Okay, so only based on the quadratic equations. How do you submit it? After you're all done, you've done your art, you wrote the report, print it out, please. Okay, again, when you print it out, I make sure it's color coded, whether you print in color or you color it in after. I need to know which equation goes with which line in your picture. Okay. You can do screenshots of of Desmos. Okay. There's the snip function on your computer as well. So if you do search and then SNIPP snipping tools, you can use this to do a screenshot of your screen, basically. Or you can do the control P or something to do a screenshot of your screen as well. But just make sure you print it out so that I can see it. And then submit your paper by the due dates. Note, everything should be typed. Okay? Some of your handwritings I cannot read. I need to be able to read it to grade it. So I want everything typed, okay? Not handwritten. And yes, and make sure you submit by the due date. Since I'm giving you this like 1.5 months beforehand, there's no reason why you cannot submit it by the due date. Okay, so please respect all due dates. And then the rubric is right here, level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1. So breadth of the relation, if you met all the requirements. Equations, do they match your graph? Visually, does it look nice or just a bunch of random lines? Report, part 1, how did you explain the indigenous art theme? Part 2 of it, does the explanation with the domain range, written transformation, does it make sense? And then lastly, presentation. Yes, at the end, I do want you and your partner to do a presentation, short 2-minute presentation. That's all I'm asking. Just 2 minutes. And I want everyone in the group, which is you and your partner, to present. So I don't want just your partner says everything, you just stand there and take all the credit. Okay, so that's why there's this right here. I want you guys to both share the workload. Okay, when there's questions at the end, I want to hear that okay, not just one person did it, the other one had no idea what this whole project was. So the presentation will also show me how much you understand the project. Okay, and because I don't want one person to do all the work, the other just stand there. At the end, there is a self-assessment rubric and a peer assessment rubric. So this, you fill it out and say how you contributed, what you can do better next time. And this peer assessment is how you would grade your partner. And then you can write me a comment too. They did nothing. I did nothing. They did everything. Okay, something like that. We work really well together, and I love my partner. Okay, so that's the assignment. Remember, if you can Google something, I can Google something too. So don't submit a Google assignment to me. Okay. Any questions on? Yes.
So my partner sleeps through all classes, does do any work. Do I lose mark on the presentation too?
The rubric, this is individual. So I will consider how much you like. So your mark is gonna be different than your partner's mark. Okay, it's not always like the same mark. So depending on how much effort you put in, your partner put in. Okay, good question.
So for the art and stuff, how would you tell? Like,
Sorry?
how would you make it individual? Because it's like we're doing one submission. If that makes sense. Like, how would you know like who did what?
This. Your self-assessment, peer assessment, and also during class time, on the classes that I give you guys, I'll see if one is always on their phone or sleeping and the other is on the computer for the whole class.
So if you replicated a picture that was indigenous, would you on your report would you talk about what image you replicated?
Yeah. And for the check-in, the early check-in, I just want to see a rough sketch on the back of this. All right, and then just to see if you guys are on the right track. If you if you chose a picture that was way too difficult to do, or you chose a picture that has nothing to do with indigenous art. Okay, so and checking to see how's you and your partner doing, how's the workload and so forth. So it's like a casual check-in. Just want to get you guys thinking about the project, see if you guys are on the right track. Okay, project due date and presentation date, I'm still thinking about that. So it will be after the breaks. I'll let you guys know in the next day or two when it's due. Okay. Any other question on this? Yep.
Is this for Tommy?
That's something I need to talk about with the department. Okay. So this will either be like your accommodating or just a project. Your final exam though, originally I just say that it's worth 25%. Final exam is now worth only 20%. Okay, so then we have to meet as a department to see, does that mean this is worth the 5% or is each of the tests worth more or so forth. So we'll discuss that and we'll get back to you. That's why I haven't wrote anything about that yet. We need to be consistent. All right, great question. All right, any other question about this project? Okay, so let me stop the recording first. So